So we just finished. Welcome to the episode 4 of the Whitepaper Chronicles. We just finished all the stuff for the nonlinear roadmap. And if you haven't seen that episode yet, turn this off and go watch it. Holy crap! It was a lot of fun. Like, I get excited about this anyway, but like running through all of the list of things that we're very confident we're gonna be able to pull off, and then just sort of mapping that out so the DAO can prioritize and we can execute on it. Is real exciting. I'm just gonna pop over to Genesis so we can do some gratitudes, which we haven't done the last couple of times, which is criminal. And then we'll go through it. So it'll be after that. I think it's probably New Worlds, Jimmy, on the list. So we have Chris Tuttle and Jimmy in to do this with me today. So I guess we'll start with you, Chris. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for tomorrow's snapshot. It's too exciting.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to put this out in the morning, so in a few hours, but I'm working on a post for people who might need it on how to set up a new MetaMask wallet. But if you haven't been there, you can go into enter.the Uplift World, and there's a cool little integration there where you can connect your MetaMask, which is fun. I think the announcement that went out was if you have it connected by June the 1st, then your intent to, purchase these, to collect these DAO tokens will remain in the system. Of course, you'll have to pay the gas fees on that. But if not, then they might go back into the centralized pool. But definitely go check it out. It's a pretty easy process if you already are familiar with MetaMask. If not, there'll be an article coming out that will tell you how to set it up. So
totally. And yeah, just linking your MetaMask wallet is enough to count as the reserve. That cutoff is June 1st. And after that, any tokens that aren't that are linked to wallets that haven't had an ETH link connected will be reclaimed, and they'll be used for the second snapshot to embiggen it a bit.
Embiggen, still my favorite new word.
I'm almost grateful for the word embiggening.
How would you spell that? I'm putting that. Grateful.
I think technically with an M, it's embiggen, even though neither are a word. But
like it's just like GGEN.
You got it.
I'm biggin. I like it.
I'm putting both me and Jimmy on this one because it's clear we are of one mind here.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for new spheres of influence. This is exciting. This is our foray into the world of Ethereum. It's for the DAO token now, but this shows the ability for us to be able to, well, in TC's words, become the Web 3.0, cross the metaverse into various aspects of the blockchain. I mean, we are that little plus symbol on the back of your little debit card in a year's time, where you don't have to go to your bank to get out the money or to, interact with the machine that's there. You'll be able to jump through a portal hub onto various blockchains. I'm really excited for the next year to come because I think the amount of development that we had in last year was pretty phenomenal. But this right here is like our, Neil Armstrong moment where we jump onto the moon. That's my personal opinion.
That's the wrong. Oops. Yeah. I mean, you guys can try and log into that. It is not going to work.
Dennis.
Yay. Sorry, guys. I was just going to try and post the thing so that everybody can follow along and watch that pretty hardcore.
No, that's all right. I mean, it's fun. Yeah, I mean, that's really exciting. So, Chris, the snapshot will happen. And then, people can go in and they can link their wallets. You kind of cut out there a little bit, but like just to reiterate that, the intent, we played around with various ideas, but we had people on the back end that were just brilliant at sussing it out so that all you have to do is link your MetaMask wallet and then like you're in. That proves it. So that's pretty cool. Good morning, Dennis. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. And it's already afternoon here.
I mean, it's 10 p.m. for me. I just used to saying good morning. My missus hates it. When you walk into an establishment at 6 o'clock in the morning and they yell, Ohio. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. But so, yeah, do you want to pull that up or do you want me to share it?
Pull it up. Okay. So we were on upcoming worlds. I think that this might need a bit of an edit, considering we are, we will be voting on it as a DAO, but the team and I are in lockstep agreement, so it is effectively decided that the first place we're going to be going, first other blockchain we're going to be going is Ethereum. Just makes too much sense, kind of not to. Like we're going to be launching the DAO token there, and it is, there's more volume, economic volume there than all the other platforms or blockchains combined, times at least like 6 or 7. It's just unbelievably massive, and we need to position the Uplift so that it has access to that and to those communities, right? I think it's going to be important for us to get over there, but then everywhere else too. So that's going to be kind of fun. So
I'm actually wondering if we don't skim this section, to be completely honest, because like the key stuff, like you were saying, this is what the team was sort of planning, right? Before the DAO. The DAO is going to have a lot of input on voting. We're definitely interested in the Ethereum world to start with. And so I don't know if we shouldn't just like talk about the Ethereum world plans and then leave the rest of these as something that we could look at as a DAO later. But it's up to you.
We can. I mean, and I'm sort of pushing for and pre-building for going on a bunch of different chains this year. Again, the DAO will vote on all of that stuff, right? So I'll be pitching those ideas, and whoever on the team wants to join me doing that. Just as an example, right? We had B-Dub from Cypher Wars, Chris, fellow Ian Banks culture novels fan. We nerded out pretty hardcore yesterday.
Yeah.
But they're building on Terra, and he's like, you guys need to get to Terra as quickly as humanly possible. And I've heard that from a few people now, right? So like, I just starts getting my brain going. Like, what's the fastest way that we can get a footprint on all these other communities, so that we have a place to put projects like Cypher Wars and others. So that's I think gonna be fun. But yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
So maybe just as a high level overview, there's 2 basic types of world plan that we're thinking about bringing to all of these other chains. And like currently the idea is to launch 2 worlds, one creative, one survival, that are targeted to the large projects, where people in those projects basically get on whitelists. And so there's an oversubscribed whitelist for those worlds, but then they can choose which of the worlds they want to mint on, if it's for a creative mode or a survival mode world. It should ideally mint out fairly quickly to projects who are really interested in being there. The other side is an extension of our community plot type system, where basically we'll be reaching out to projects, giving the leads of those projects or the team that's building those projects a chance to build and bring their community into like a community plot style thing, where there's a few plots that they can then build on. Once those are good, and if the team's really showing that they're interested in those plots, we'll give them the plot NFTs themselves for free. And then the rest of the world will be sold open access to basically anyone who wants to mint. So for each of those, the plan would be to launch a creative and a survival mode world, just to make this easier. We're still not totally sure which one is going to be most popular. And so it makes sense to sort of just do both to start.
Mm-hmm.
As we move on to other chains, if we have a more refined idea, we could always do fewer, but these are small worlds. Like a reminder is, again, these are only like, I think there's 1,000 plots on each world versus 10,000 plus or something on our current worlds. So it's a huge difference.
Well, and they're smaller too, right?
Yeah.
So I think like the thing that I look at is, Genesis is 5 kilometers by 5 kilometers. There are 25 1 kilometer worlds on Genesis, 25. And we're talking about adding 2 up front to Ethereum, and then like doing the blue chip kind of thing, right? Where if we do like a Bored Ape Focus World or Fame Lady Squad or whatever, where you have to own one of these PFP projects or major assets from one of the major projects to mint on those worlds. So we might be able to do something like that. But again, they're not big. right? And having these things out there. I mean, they're just obviously they're going to be server optimized a lot better than some of our bigger worlds, which is really important. But yeah, it's not a lot of land. Like the land plots are going to be 32 by 32 now, and of course we know that people have been absolutely crushing the 50 by 50 ones. So we think that's going to be enough to build something really amazing.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, give us a little bit to rewrite this section so that we can reframe it so that you can see that this is a strategy that will roll out to any chain that is ready.
Yeah.
It's not just an Ethereum versus a Polygon thing. And then the other world ideas, we could go through them right now, or we could just talk about them later because they're more game enhancements for people. So,
well, I think we actually touched on a lot of this stuff in the episode we did yesterday with a lot of the first features that we're going to be voting on. So friendly NFT worlds, fractionalization supply. So I guess is that in here? Yeah, it was. Okay. So do you want to maybe overview World DAOs though, just because like it's such a great idea?
May as well start with it here. So yeah, I think we've talked about it before, but World DAOs would come with two main parts. The first part is the World Vending Machine, where people are going to spend an obscene amount of Upliftium, either together or in groups, to then choose a world from a big vending machine full of worlds. So they can choose the biome they're most interested in, choose the world they most like, and roll it out. Once that's done, they then have the option to stake Upliftium to that world to increase that world's percentages of the rewards that are being received. I think they would start with basically 0 for a new world DAO, and then they could eke out a higher percentage by staking more Upliftium to the world. They'd also then get access to a modified version of the guilds interface, basically, that allows them to choose which plots they want to mint. In our first visual iteration of this, and probably the normal one, we would still mint the rail as we would normally mint, and the DAO would keep the rail and be able to sell that on our own, whereas the World DAO would have all of the land to division up as they want through plots and regions. If the DAO is interested, we can have an extra fee and have the DAO give up the rail if somebody really wants full control over every aspect of those world's plots. The guilds interface will have all the stuff you're used to from guilds, but it'll also have like I say, rewards management for the staking, and it'll have plot minting, and it'll have oh shoot, what was that third thing? Oh yeah, rules. So you can customize the plugins that are turned on that world, and the config settings for the plugins for that world. And depending on those rules that you've set up, you can choose to have that world in one of our existing clusters or not with shared inventory. So if you're going for a world that has keep inventory off and it's raining gold from the sky, you probably can't join our survival cluster. But if you're doing something that is harder than an existing world, you probably have no problem getting in. Obviously this would probably come with your ability to do your own world logo, have your own NFT assets that are designed by you and set up, under our collection for the group that's doing these world DAOs. It's basically a way to control a sustainable release of worlds as we get new people onboarding in a regular way, right? So we've released these worlds in sort of jumps before now. After we reach a certain player count and it becomes really obvious that there's going to be a demand for these worlds, then we can release a system like this and make it easy for people. And you could also obviously choose which chain you mint those NFTs on. So if you happen to be Ethereum or Terra or something else oriented, you'll be able to mint on there instead of Wax if that's your preference.
So how, and this is not confirmation, we're spitballing because everyone loves when I do this. How much uplifting do you think the first one should cost?
I mean, honestly, in the billions.
Yeah.
Right? Like I want to say 5 to 10 billion, maybe 5 as a starting point. And then it increases by, 250 million or 500 million every
or
single
a billion
time. Or a billion. Yeah, like these aren't cheap, right? And this would be a group of people or a single person who wants to launch their own freaking world in the Uplift, can buy a bunch of Upliftium off of everyone else who has been playing to earn it, and use it for this. This isn't an expectation that every player is going to get to the point where they can buy a world. This is a business that can bring in $500,000 to $1 million if they do it right. It's a pretty intense opportunity.
All the Upliftium minus 1.
Indeed. Yeah, no, I think that I think it's such a great idea, and one that the if we made some decisions on it, and it might be worth sort of getting TC. I had a feeling you would be here for this. He just, for anyone who doesn't know, he just commented OMG want, and I get it. And I could see the guilds sort of mapping to this as well, right? Like pooling collectively or whatever. It'd be interesting to see if we could sort of roll out an MVP, so that people could actually start saving up for this if they wanted to, right? And maybe because if people have that as a target, I think that is just interesting.
Totally. Well, I wonder, like, once guilds are out, like I said in the last white paper dig through, guilds are going to give us the opportunity to target some products to groups of people who are saving together, right? One of those could be a first world DAO world. And even before we're ready, we could have a few that are up as an option. And then we could have the ability to choose one auctioned with the starting base price between all the guilds.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could be something where if you're in a guild, you can participate in this, or your guild can participate. We started at like 1.5 or 2 billion, and we see where the bidding takes it up to,
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Well, I wonder too, now that I'm thinking this through, maybe having that lined up and ready to rock and roll in some iteration, maybe without guilds, just because we might have those.
I think we need guilds. I think this is one of those things where guilds is incredibly important, and then the guilds technology is underpinning for a lot of the management features that a World DAO person is going to want.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. I can't argue with that. Yeah, so I mean, just again, like shooting from the hip or whatever, it seems that the uplifting focus until we do snapshot number 2, like that's sort of where it's going to be at, right? So I almost think that like having something like this lined up for after that might be a good idea, just because then it shifts the sort of, and I know we're going to be having the potential to release some more uplifting syncs in the meantime, but having that as like a major sync could be really interesting for after everything gets burned for the next thing.
Well, and like you've said before, we sold our initial land NFTs before we had the land ready for people to go on. We could do an auction for an NFT that gets somebody the right to redeem it for the first world DAO, even if we're not totally ready, right? And because we'll be DAO at that point, it'll be very transparent. The whole DAO will know where we're at in the development process. It might actually be an easy sell to buy early. So,
yeah. Hey, Agility, it's probably on your end. I think everybody else is getting some sound. They were just commenting there wasn't any sound. Yeah, I mean, so now I just want to I just want to list an NFT on Nefty for Lithium like tomorrow.
Yeah.
That would be so nuts. It's like, hey, this is we're gonna sell this little world NFT for, we'll make it 4 billion.
Got to give people at least a few weeks to refill their supplies after this first snapshot. We burned a lot of Upliftium.
Right? But I mean, nobody's going to get it. But it'd be like just to have it there and be like, ooh.
Just a grail sitting there. Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's crazy. That's really fun.
I like it because it lets the next big project potentially plug in and give the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, you get to give your PFP buy-inners that they can I don't know, supporters. Fair enough. I mean, it's difficult because like people buy the IP, right? But you get to give everyone who owns that IP potentially a plot in this little metaverse, in this little world. You get to spin up your own rules. You get to have gold raining from the sky, as Tuttle so nicely put it. Or, you get to have it as hard as possible, full PvP, whatever you want to do, which is really an interesting concept. And I think the amount of creativity in the world will only get exponentiated by the amount of different people who, pick this up and take it. And so I think it's a really interesting idea for all of you people who are yelling about, we want it harder, we want block damage off, or we want block damage on. Like, this is your chance to corral around those same people and potentially, have the world that you want, right? Like you could have, anything as long as you pay all the Upliftium -1. So, oh my God.
Anyway, that's genius. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So there's that. So yeah, play and earn. I'll just read through all this stuff. Reward season 5 has already started, so I guess that we found an edit already for that. I think, did I see that Flo had actually done this week's rewards already?
Yeah, week 5 rewards just dropped, and so final rewards at season 5 ends tomorrow,
Okay.
and then we'll drop the rewards shortly after. But I think, yeah, the rewards for week 5 got out in time for everybody to burn them if they can. So.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I gotta do that myself. All right, so the Uplift has already dropped hundreds of thousands of wax tokens and millions, hundreds of millions, or billions of Upliftium. How much have we done in Upliftium so far?
Something like 20 billion.
Okay, fair enough. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we've burned like 5 plus.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Because I remember when we were looking through the initial stats, I was sharing them with that Canadian exchange. I was like, yeah, this is not right. So I went over on the thing, and it's like, I think I might even been over 6 billion because it listed 1.8 billion that had been used or burned already. I was like, yeah, no, it's like at least 3 or 4 times that. So that's kind of fun. So why we do things differently? We believe that the best way for a sustainable game that has a substantial financial participation and income aspect is to grow like a person or startup. This means the optimum is to invest instead of to transfer, and to have multiple sources of income for a project that pays dividends that are tied to the degree of participation. The Uplift World is a play and earn game instead of a play to earn game. Our credo is that we have done something seriously wrong and need to correct our course if players participate in the Uplift just for the means of earning an income. And just to be like super clear about that, and you can see how we have the way that we incentivize things is sort of very specifically so that it's actually kind of hard to optimize. Right? We tell everyone it's just play. That's like the best way to optimize. It's just to have fun. Just go in there and have fun, because we want it to be like a background thing that people are doing while they're actually enjoying or building or creating cool things or having fun. That's sort of the whole point, right? So especially if the only strategy is to generate profits for players to take it from the existing or even new players. And again, like we've been fighting bots since the beginning, like this has sort of been an ongoing thing to focus on that value of proof of play, not proof of the ability to create a bot that makes you go up and down the rails for 24 hours a day.
Well, I think Jen recently has been doing streams where she's been going on like auto farm hunts and things like that, and I just really want people who are there in the metaverse that are actually building to be the ones rewarded, not another project where you can just come in and siphon off all the funds and dilute the economy, right? And I think that was always our goal from the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't try to compare ourselves to the other Minecraft projects too much, right? Like, I think there's a lot of variability in a lot of them. I think one advantage that we do have right now that the DAO might be able to, leverage as best as possible is that we've been doing these rewards for a year. So both the community and the team have a fairly good idea right now of what kinds of things work and don't. And our token has already weathered that kind of up and down. So we're in a position right now to build a pretty interesting reward system that everyone understands.
Yeah, just to rip through this. So the Uplift Metaverse can use many games or platforms. We talked about this a bunch of times over the last few episodes. Obviously, we picked Minecraft. It is by far the most versatile way to sort of iterate and play with all these things. So we do, for anyone who doesn't know yet, we do have our own in-game currency called Upliftium. You can earn that through play. You can earn it by owning land. People kind of walk over or play on your land. You earn Upliftium from that. So to the players, it's kind of a neat system, right? And we actually walked through in the last episode, part 3 of the white paper, a bunch of the ways that we're thinking about enhancing and really making it more dynamic and entertaining, and not just in world, but doing some different sort of earning and quest capacity in Discord, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on there. But we also enable players to build their own businesses in game to connect Minecraft worlds with their outside projects and to thrive using classical growth factors like visibility or engagement. So this is people putting up billboards or putting up NFT galleries. No matter if you want to build a business or just like to get additional gains through time and ingenuity you put into the game you love anyway, for example, by creating buildings, resources, or art other players need, or just by roaming the world like that. There's definitely a lot of people that just go and explore. One example for the mentioned sustainability is not to spend everything the DAO earns from partnerships, transactions, or sales and rewards, but to collect an ever-growing treasury, invest in tokens with a strong value proposition, and to pay players from the growing staking rewards or low-risk DeFi activities. The possibilities are endless. Some examples that do not even address what's planned, but what's already there: generating Upliftium and other tokens like Wax through your activity that other players need to buy in world services to support their projects, like picture installs. And again, shops that are all over the place where you can buy all sorts of Minecraft stuff from other players with Upliftium. You can build a gallery for fun or a fun event and sell tickets, collecting activity rewards from sightseers. So we talked in the last episode as well about passports and the fact that we can release those for specific events that you can give out for free or sell if you want to. You can mine Minecraft resources other plot owners need for their builds and sell them. Again, that's where you can create little shops in game and put a bunch of stuff in chests and sell that for Upliftium. And just even to like how much of that is already going on after the last couple of months is pretty intense. You can participate in tournaments and being victorious or streaming it. We've only done a few of these so far, a couple of these so far, but it's going to be a thing that we're going to see a lot more of.
So I got a message from G Kid today. He's working on something pretty special. I won't spoil it because it's not quite ready to be done yet, but I thought that maybe this is relevant to put this out there. He basically wrote this and asked me, what I thought. I thought it was brilliant. So he said, "What is the uplift?" Did I hear you ask? Well, the best way to answer this is to direct you to the white paper, which you can find here. But to put it in a few words, the Uplift World is a blockchain metaverse project using a Minecraft base layer, which started out on Wax with the goal of growing into a multi-world structure, implementing both different base layers and integrating across multiple blockchains. This is something that came from somebody in the community that read the white paper. And that's what they came up with. And I thought that's pretty bang on. I mean,
if you got to blurb it, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty exciting to see where we could go. And I mean,
and so there's just tons here. And again, the features to vote on was the section that we did yesterday. And we walked through many ways that we're doing this now, as well as a bunch of different ways that not only that we're as a DAO going to be implementing in the future, sort of further gamifying and making the sort of experience a lot more interesting for all of our players and sort of metaverse citizens. But I think other projects as well are going to find this infrastructure that we're building and be able to map games and quests and missions to their own NFT projects. And I think that might actually end up being much bigger. So that's kind of fun. Active rewards. So active rewards are tracked and distributed in 6-week seasons. There's usually a 1-week off season in between. Season 4 ended in February. I think we're week 5 of season 5 right now. Currently, there are 2 types of rewards. Wax rewards. We have a pool of wax created at Uplift World's inception using a portion of the sales. And Upliftium rewards set weekly to match the mining pool emissions. So currently 265 million per week in Upliftium. We have the option to allow other projects to partner with us and provide some of their token on the Wax blockchain to start, which we would then distribute through our reward system. And of course, market the heck out of those partnerships. Now, Blue Deck is going to be, we had to wait until after we finished the purchase to do this. But we're going to be sending out a bunch of Blue to everyone who earned rewards during the season, which is going to be kind of fun. I'm already talking to 3 different projects for future seasons to integrate their tokens into what we're doing. And Chris, you brought up yesterday, and I think this is like the sleeper hit of the summer, that it doesn't have to just be, it doesn't have to just be tokens or fungible tokens. It could be NFTs as well.
And it doesn't just have to be projects that run them, right? If an individual wants to buy up a bunch of a token for a project that they really like and then ask us to distribute it for them, we're interested, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be the core team either.
Well,
go ahead, Jimmy.
No, like I said, we had this conversation a few days ago as well, Corey. Like, it could potentially be somebody who donates a bunch of tokens, and then there's like a lottery that's given out to all the people. Sorry, a bunch of NFTs, and then there's a lottery that's given out to all the people. Like there's a bunch of variations on this that I think are really exciting, that people could use, right? I especially like the idea of partnerships that people have, inflating supplies of tokens that actually have real use cases that could plug into this. Like imagine if another project had their own kind of version of Upliftium where they could plug that in and people could get rewards, and then they could go and use their platform and then plug into that. So I think it's a really exciting possibility to be able to partner with these other projects and people.
Hey, what are you guys doing?
And the silence was deafening.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, love you, Max. So yeah, there's endless possibilities there, and we're going to be attacking those aggressively. And again, anybody in the community, it makes a lot of sense, right? If you're into a project and you want to work with us to get a whole bunch of promo and get that project out into the eyeballs and into the wallets of the pretty rabidly fantastic Uplift community, call us. So Upliftium. So here's some of the bit on the utility in-game token that we have. So we'll run through this here. Tokenomics. I love this graph. So Upliftium is the in-game currency for the Uplift. The DAO doesn't hold Upliftium. Instead, it is burned in taxes on player-to-player transactions and for services such as picture installs and portal installations. People can crystallize Upliftium into an NFT, as well as melt that NFT back into Upliftium. Since release, there have been several third-party tools on the Wax chain for Upliftium. Primarily, like the biggest one is tokenized NFT, where you can send your Upliftium NFT to that Wax wallet, and it automatically sends you back 1 million Liftium for each one of those million, crystallized Upliftium NFTs you send it, which is pretty slick. And this is just a graph that kind of walks through that process and explains it in pretty great detail. So that's kind of fun.
Community made graph too. Thank you, Dats Relics.
Right? It's good cake. It's good cake. So yeah, it says that down there. Community made image. Dats Relics in Discord explaining the off and on chain Upliftium process. So you can check that out on the white paper. For miners, I've been reading a lot. I drank a couple of real coffees this morning, so I'm like, wee. Anybody want to take this one?
Yeah, I don't mind. I can do it. So
cool.
Pack sale for random miners was held in June with an unlimited supply. Each miner template has a charge property that dictates how much Upliftium is earned per week, split between all the miners of that template in the pool. Land key templates also each have an Upliftium pool. There are no plans for new miner sales. Instead, new miners are created through blends. Only newly created miners can be made in blends. Miners from the original pack sale can be used for blends, but not be created in them. The current total weekly Upliftium distribution across all mining pools is 265,500,000. And I think that this is, a little bit new to a lot of people, but I like it. And what I noticed was, especially the lands, because the pools are set the way that they are, different land has different charges. And it was really interesting pre and post the liftoff sale to see how much the drips for those land and rail keys in various worlds changed. And I know like Dennis has got some really cool ideas around this as well. So if you want to add anything, but like we've been working hard to add things and change things. And I think that there's some really interesting things coming. I don't know if we can speak on them yet, but
it's still a bit in the flow, but I can say it has to do with the crafting system and items and resources and bringing everything together.
I'd also just add, I think that the Upliftium emission rate has gone up ever so slightly because we introduced a new miner pool for the Swineland and Borvalis rail because those didn't exist before, so it's ever so slightly increased. I'd also like to put it into people's heads we'd love to lean on the DAO for help in recipes for some new miners as well. Like we're tentative. We don't want to release and increase the Upliftium supply for no good reason, but having the occasional new miner right now, even during this transitional period, is a neat idea. And if the community wants to, band together and suggest a few recipes, that would help us out a lot, because often you guys know the prices and the ratios better than we do, because you've been swimming in the data.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'd love to see a blend for a new miner pack that had like 5 different NFT projects in it, and shards and postcards or something, right?
that seems like a no-brainer. Yeah.
Right? Like, enough to get it out there and sort of sweep the floors of some projects that have a lot of NFTs out there. But I don't know, like Alien Worlds. Who's using those freaking characters anyway? Nobody. Anyway, something like that I think would be really cool. Good talk. Okay. Syncs. Here's the current syncs. Picture installs, portal installs, plot regeneration, sign punch tracking. So you can pay some Upliftium and we can set that up for you. And we do that manually. Experience worlds, manual, some wax fees as well. And taxes on shop transactions. Is that tax like 5%? What's that set at right now?
Yeah, I think it's 5%.
And then shop setup fee, which I'm not mistaken, is 10,000 per chest.
Correct.
And many more sustainable ways to use Upliftium for real game benefits are about to come. Again, we listed off a ton of them in part 3, so you can go back and check those out. And yeah, see the nonlinear roadmap for all the proposed upcoming syncs, and we come up with new ones all the time. So that's kind of fun. We got
and again, like I would encourage the community to come up with new ones. Like I know that there's a lot of events where people are giving out Upliftium, but like, I mean, Upliftium is a listable token on Nifty blocks. So I mean, you can sell things in Liftium over there, which is really nice. Like, it's a community token. And you guys can use it however you want. And that's a nice thing about being inflationary, right? Like you're benefiting yourself, but you're also benefiting the community. And like, if you want to get a stash of Upliftium to be able to build things in the world, you could do that on your own out there, in the beyond metaverse space and give it more utility as well, which is really cool.
Agreed. All right, fam. What do you guys think about saving the DAO tokenomics for its own episode? Like, cause it's whole.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that too.
Cool.
Yeah, these are long enough, and there's a lot of information to go through for people, and I've been enjoying doing them with some frequency. So yeah, let's just do another one.
Awesome.
So let's go. We should just jump into maybe a little bit. We don't have to go into the page, but one more time, let's reiterate the first snapshot, which happens tomorrow, I guess. And what does that mean? Because I want people to understand that this is like kind of the groundbreaking event, right? And then maybe we can pick this up on Monday. Maybe we'll jump back in on Monday. We'll take Sunday off if you guys are okay with that.
Sounds good. So yeah, just a plug for the snapshot. We've got 15 million of the 100 million DAO tokens going out for this first snapshot. 12 million of it is going for landholders based on number of land and rail keys that you hold for everywhere except for the Our Planet lands, because those aren't NFTs for our collection. The other 3% is for Upliftium burned for picture installs or services, or for directly burning the NFT on Atomic Hub, which you can do if you're just in a rush and don't know what you want to order, or sending it to We Save Uplift, which is another way to burn it. The second snapshot will be cumulative as well. So like Upliftium you burned for this first snapshot is still going to count as Upliftium burned for the second snapshot. So this is your chance to sort of burn Upliftium to count it for 2 snapshots, which is a pretty big deal for the initial community. That's the key. You got to get your services ordered before 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And the snapshot itself is being taken at noon Eastern tomorrow. It wouldn't hurt to not sell land, give or take an hour or two around that, just that you don't find yourself in a confusing position. But yeah, that's more a recommendation than a necessity. And that's about it. You can link your Ethereum wallet now, like we said at the beginning of the episode, and doing so before June 1st reserves those tokens for you. You can then claim them at any time. They won't expire as long as you've linked an Ethereum wallet. We're looking at an option to burn Upliftium. If you would like to burn, we're currently saying 5 million Upliftium to get on an airdrop list and then be dropped the token instead of having to get Ethereum to pay for that initial gas. I think it's going to be cheaper, to be completely honest, to wait for good gas, put Ethereum in your wallet and claim it yourself. But the Upliftium claiming option is there for people who are really scared about that initial, funding of a wallet. So... yeah, and then once the token goes live, there's going to be a liquidity pool for it. I'm personally going to be putting a bunch in to start that pool on Ethereum, and you'll have the option to buy and sell from that pool, and then we'll get voting up and running. So we're getting somewhere. Yeah.
And like, if you're watching this and you've never created a MetaMask wallet and you're freaking out, don't worry. You don't have to have the MetaMask wallet created and linked before the snapshot. We're giving you a month after that, and I'll be putting out an article hopefully tomorrow that explains a little bit about it. It's pretty easy. I mean, we're more worried about people who have never created an Ethereum wallet, and we want to make this new, because like we do have some players who are here because of the Minecraft, and this is kind of their foray into blockchain. So we're gonna help you out as best you can. I know that like there's been a few various streams by various people talking about questions and concerns. If you have those, just drop them in the AMA channel, and we're going to clarify this. Not all the things have been released yet, but like Chris said, we've been working hard behind the scenes to make this as a seamless process as absolutely possible, because we want to do this, and then we want to do it again and again and again and again, and go to multiple different blockchains time and time again, and have this kind of metaverse and enter the Uplift World, or the next iteration of it, being able to connect you to the hub of all of the metaverses, really.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. When do you guys want to do the next one? Did we decide that Monday?
I think Monday sounds good.
Let's
Cool.
do it Monday.
All right.
Well, let's leave you with. Let's leave you with this. I'm grateful for Gary.
That's just cool. I miss Gary.
You're right. We'll see you guys all on Monday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Happy snapshotting, and take care.
Bye all.